A very good afternoon and welcome to NTV News. I'm Siksha Sharma. Let's take a look into the headlines in the beginning. Lack of shelter and food making quake survivors' life difficult. Government says it has ramped up relief distribution. Prime Minister calls an all-party meeting for today. Meeting summoned for 2 p.m. President Paudel makes a visit to the quake-affected regions. Israel intensifies bombardments of Gaza at Hamas centers, says it will take full security responsibility of the strip once it's all. Welcome back to NTV News. We take a look into news in detail now. The daily life of the earthquake survivors in Jajakot has become miserable with no place to shelter amid repeated aftershocks. Not only they have to mourn the death of the near and dear ones, but also they are facing food shortage. With limited food stack also buried in the rubble, the quake survivors are awaiting assistance. Relief efforts in the quake-hit Rukum West and Jajakot district is being conducted through the one-door policy. As per government decision, relief materials are being handed over to the survivors on priority basis. The office set up in neighboring district of Surkhet has started distributing relief to the survivors and managing treatment of the injured in the first phase. Among the 157 dead ones, 99 are women and 58 men. The Nepal Police Headquarters informed that 16,570 houses have been completely destroyed due to the earthquake in the 6 local levels in Rukum West. Almost half of those killed in the quake on Friday were children, it has been found. According to data with the police, 78 of the 157 people killed in the quake on 9th of November 3rd were children. Of the deceased children, 50 died in Jajakot and 28 in Rukum West due to the quake, said Deputy Superintendent of Police Santosh Roka. 28 of 52 people died in the quake in Rukum West were children, said the District Police Chief Namraj Bhatrai. Most of the deceased in Rukum West were children, including 2 10-month-old. According to Jajakot police, of the 105 deceased in Jajakot, 50 were children, 33 women and 18 men. In Rukum, 16 women and 8 men died in the quake. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has summoned an all-party meeting today. The Prime Minister called on parties represented in the Parliament to come together for talks in the meeting scheduled for 2 p.m. at his office in Singadarbar. The meeting aims to hold discussion on crucial issues such as the recent quake in Jajakot and Rukum and ongoing relief and rehabilitation efforts of the political leadership. President Ramchandra Paudel has reached the earthquake-hit district of Jajakot. The president embarked to the quake-devastated region on a Nepal Army helicopter this morning. The president is also scheduled to visit another quake-hit district of Rukum West to take stock of the situation of disaster survivors there. Earlier, President Paudel postponed his scheduled visit to Europe in the wake of this devastation back home, with the conclusion that it would not be appropriate to leave the country when a natural disaster like the devastating quake has occurred here. And let's take a look into a short break here. More news follows up next. Do stay with us. Welcome back to NTV News. We take a look into further developments. 2 persons died in a road accident occurred at Thorpatan, Baglung. Those killed in a taxi accident were Hom Bahadur Pun, 28, from Pakhute of Thorpatan 2, and Ashwin Pariyar, 32, from Chisafat of Bodyguard 6 in the district. The accident occurred at Malkatibang of Thorpatan 2, while the taxi heading to Thorpatan from Bodyguard fell 100 meters down the road. Deputy Superintendent of Police Madan Kesi said both of them died on the spot. The partial impact of westerly wind will cause brief rainfall and snowfall in some areas of high hills and mountains for 3 days beginning today. The weather forecast bulletin stated that some places of hilly region in the country is predicted to have brief rainfall along with thunder and lightning, while snowfall in upper hilly in mountainous areas. However, the other places will have clear weather. The government has formed a working group under the coordination of the Ministry of Home Affairs to carry out a feasibility study of marijuana cultivation in the country. In a meeting held on Monday at the Ministry of Finance under the chairmanship of Finance Minister Dr. Prakash Charan Mahat, a working group was formed under the coordination of the Joint Secretary of the Ministry of Home Affairs. On the occasion, Finance Minister Mahat instructed the task force to submit its report within 1 month. This task force has been given 2 mandates, including to research how marijuana can be used as medicine and the possibility of industrialization. The task force will also study the possibility of making clothes from hemp stems, leaves and fibers. It may be noted that the budget estimates of the government for the current financial year had mentioned to carry out study of the possibility of marijuana cultivation in Nepal. Let's take a look into a short break. International news follows up next. Do stay with us. Welcome back to NTV News. We take a look into more developments. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel would consider tactical little pauses in Gaza fighting to facilitate the entry of aid or the exit of hostages, but again rejected calls for a general ceasefire despite growing international pressure. Having encircled the densely populated Gaza city in the north of the enclave where the Hamas group is based, Israel's military said it had taken a militant compound and was set to attack fighters hiding in a warren of underground tunnels. Since the Hamas raid on southern Israel on October 7, when its fighters killed 1,400 people and seized 240 hostages, Israel has bombarded the enclave in an assault that Gaza health officials say has killed more than 10,000 Palestinians, including some 4,100 children. Both Israel and Hamas have rebuffed mounting international pressure for a ceasefire. Israel says hostages should be released first. Hamas says it will not free them nor stop fighting while Gaza is under assault. Towards India now, where millions have begun voting in the states of Mizoram and Chhattisgarh as a round of key state elections kick off in India. They are among 5 states going to the polls between 7 and 30 of November. Vote counting is due on 3rd of December. These polls are seen as a precursor to the national elections next year. The other states voting this month include Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan in northern India and Telangana in the south. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party BJP is in power only in Madhya Pradesh. The opposition Congress Party rules Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan. Let's take a look into the highlights of what's coming up next. Heavy snow and blizzards have been blanketing large parts of northeast China's provinces of Heilongjiang and Liaoning over the past 2 days, disrupting traffic and causing poor road visibility. A cold front has ushered in strong winds and heavy snowfall across northern and northeastern China since Sunday. Local meteorological authorities issued a red alert for blizzards for the country's northernmost province of Heilongjiang on Sunday and activated emergency measures including clearing snow on expressways to ensure the safety of residents. And this brings us to the end of the bulletin. To wrap up, a quick reminder of the headlines. Lack of shelter and food making quake survivors' life difficult. Government says it has ramped up relief distribution. Prime Minister summons an all-party meeting to sit for 2 p.m. today. President Paudel makes a visit to the quake-affected regions. Israel intensifies bombardments of Gaza at Hamas centers, says it will take full security responsibility of the strip once it's all over. That's all for now. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead. Namaste.